So when you are getting ready to hand sew, you're going to want to hold the spool of thread at your nose and stretch your arm all the way out. Although that may seem like a significant amount of thread, that is how much you need. You of course would want to match your thread to what you're sewing. So in this case, you would assume that I'm sewing something that's pink. But actually, I'm using pink thread so it will stand out so that you can see it. Thread your needle through the eye and then bring the tails together down at the bottom. I would probably choose maybe a gold color or dark blue for this. Wet your finger. Since it's COVID times, we should probably not lick our finger, but you can use water from the sink. Wrap the thread around your finger that you licked or wet, and then roll it back and forth until it comes off your finger, and then give it a yank, and that will give you a knot. So now I have a double threaded needle with the knot down at the end. I'm going to point the camera down so you can see a little bit better. And here I have in front of you the product that we're going to be making. We want to put some stuffing. I've already cut the corners and pushed them out. So I'm just going to put some stuffing down in there. How much stuffing you put in there is personal preference, but I usually like to put enough that when I pinch it, I can't really feel my fingers on the other side. Some people like to fold in the edges and then pin them to hold them still, and that's fine too. I'm just going to pinch them with my hand to hold them. So I'm going to start out from the inside, and I'm going to come out so that my tail is hidden down inside of my project. You don't want that tail hanging out on the outside, so just tuck it down in there. And then each time I make a stitch, I'm going to be doing what's called the overcast stitch. I'm going to go through all the layers and then pull it tight. The next stitch I make, I'm going to strive for the same width apart and the same depth, keeping my string out of the way, and I'm going to pull it tight. And I'm going to keep doing that method all the way down until I get to the end. It is important that you keep your string out of the way so that you don't end up looping it over itself. The way the stitches should look, they should look like little hash marks across the top. Sometimes I find that students who struggle with this benefit from drawing themselves little dots to follow. So you can take one of the marking pens and you can go and just draw little dots along here. All right, let's pretend like I've gotten to the end. So I'm gonna do a couple stitches and show you how to close it up. So if I've sewn all the way across, keep going, keep going, keep going, and I get to the end and I'm ready to tie it off. Here's how I will do that. This fabric is very thick. There we go. So when I get to the end and I'm ready to tie it off, I'm going to make a little stitch right where I left off. And I'm not gonna pull it all the way through this time. This time I do wanna go through that loop. See the loop? If I go through that loop and pull it tight, that makes a little knot. I'm gonna do that again. I'm just gonna lift up some of my pink thread and I'm gonna go through the loop that was created and pull it tight. And there's my knot, right there at the top. To hide my tail, I'm gonna go into the pillow right where I stopped and come out somewhere random. And that's where I will cut my tail to hide it. So it'll be inside of the pillow, you won't see it anymore. So if I would have had time to sew across the whole top, this would be closed and I would have a finished product.